The Orlando Magic may have a new star, and he very well may have saved the day and a little bit of the season today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is December 27th. It will be December 28th, 2025. My name is Philip Rossman. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com, credentialed member of the Orlando Magic media since the 2012 season. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, the Magic have a new star. How Anthony Black kept the Magic alive and gave them the metronome they've been desperate for, and why he's been doing it for a little while now. We'll get to AB's growth coming out here. Plus, Jamahl Mosley said by committee forever. This team might finally just have to do the by committee stuff, and Jamahl Mosley actually needs to live by those words. We're going to talk a little bit about what the Magic are getting from everybody else, with Paolo Banchero being what he is. I'm trying to be positive today. I want to be positive today. So we'll get to some of that coming up here in just a moment. First, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day, no matter when you listen to us, whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's right when we upload. We truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. You can make Locked On Magic even bigger part of your day by being one of our Orlando Magic dailies, our everydayers. That means you're listening 5 days a week. That means you're listening to bonus episodes on the weekends after games. That means we are part of your regular podcast rotation. We are your first listen of the day. We want to thank you again for making the Locked On Magic community so great. And thank you for helping make Locked On Podcast Networks the #1 sports podcast network. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by FanDuel. Before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Orlando Magic right now are desperate for a star. And one of them sitting on the bench with the high ankle sprain right now, and Franz Wagner. I'm going to try really, really hard not to belabor this point. I want to respect my everydayers who listen every day and not repeat the same things and the same frustrations. But the Magic are getting what they need from Paolo Banchero. And we'll talk about Paolo's game and the good and the bad from it a little bit later on. We're not going to ignore Paolo. But every team needs a star. Every team needs a metronome. Every team needs a guy they can just get the ball to and have something happen. They need someone that at times can carry them through. And when you look at the Magic over the last 2 weeks, that's kind of what's been missing. The guys the Magic are turning to, the guys the Magic want to carry them, Paolo Banchero and Desmond Bane, they're just inconsistent. You know, Paolo's not Paolo right now. And we can speculate and discuss whatever reasons. That's not today's episode. Did that a little bit yesterday, did that 2 days ago, did that 3 days ago. That's not today's episode. Today's episode is about the player who has stepped up into that vacuum. Today is about the player who has emerged as such a critical piece to this team that he is essential. Today's episode is about Anthony Black. Because without Anthony Black and the growth and the leap that he has taken, things would look a lot worse. And certainly Saturday's 127-126 win over the Denver Nuggets would not be the same. They wouldn't win this game, obviously, without Anthony Black, because Anthony Black had another career night. Not just a career night, probably the best individual game for the Magic this season. 38 points, season high, career high for him, season high for any Magic player. 14 for 24 shooting, 7 for 11 from 3. He made 7 of the Magic's 10 3-pointers in this game. 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, just 1 turnover. One of those steals came with about a minute to play, a little bit more than a minute to play when he dug in on Nikola Jokic, stole the ball from him, got out in transition, and made a layup with a foul. He missed the free throw. He's still 3 for 6 from the line. There's still plenty of room for improvement, but we're not here to be negative today. The Magic won. In 30 minutes, Anthony Black took over this game in every facet. He was a great spot-up shooter. He was great attacking the rim. And all those various pieces of the puzzle that we've been waiting for Anthony Black to put together, he has started to put together. All the talk of, we just want him to be confident. We want him to be aggressive. The talk that I've had with people where I'm just like, I don't think Anthony Black understands how good he could be. And the biggest thing holding back Anthony Black is Anthony Black understanding that he can do anything, or just about anything. There's still a lot of room to grow with him. And this year, the Magic put a lot on his plate. After being in and out of the rotation for his first 2 seasons, being given this very small, well-defined role, being trusted more and really only for his defense, and anything he got from it offensively was a bonus. This year, the Magic, with the trades they made, essentially bet big on Black, Vegas terms. They bet big on Anthony Black to be the guy, to be the player that elevated this team. And we've seen that throughout the course of the season. I say this all the time. No stat correlates to the Magic's success, the Magic's winning, more than Anthony Black's three-point shooting. That, by the way, still the case. He had a good shooting game on Friday, and the Magic lost. And I would say Anthony Black was really the only player who played pretty well in that game. But in Magic wins, Anthony Black shoots 38.1% from three. Entering tonight. In losses, they shoot 27.9%. The thing about Anthony Black, though, is he's put these pieces together more often. And not only has he put these pieces together more often, in a time when the Magic are struggling more and more, when their top players are not delivering at the level that the Magic need them to deliver, Anthony Black has been reliable. Since the Magic's NBA Cup loss in 5 games, so not in the 5 games preceding tonight's game against Denver, Anthony Black averaged 21.4 points per game, shot 47.5% from the floor on 16 field goal attempts per game, and shot 43.3% on 6 3-point attempts per game. That's volume, that's efficiency, that's scoring. With 4.8 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 1.6 stocks, 1.2 steals per game. Anthony Black, during this time of inconsistency, he scored 20 or more points now in 5 of the last 6 games. So sample size certainly there. And granted, only 2 games that he had a positive plus minus were the Portland win and tonight's win against Denver. So I'm not gonna. I led this saying Anthony Black is the Magic's new star, and that's purposefully provocative. I will cop to that. I will cop to that. Slap my wrists for feeding the algorithm. I will cop to that. Anthony Black's got work to do. He missed that free throw. Would have put the Magic up by 2. Would have made some of the headaches later in the game a little bit easier. But right now, the Magic are just hunting for consistency. Right now, the Magic don't know what they can rely on night to night. You'd think, and again, I'm not throwing this all on Paolo, but you'd think you could get 20 to 25 from Paolo every night. That's just, for whatever reason, that's not the case. You want to hope you can get 18 to 22, 23, 24 points from Desmond Bane. And a big reason the Magic won this game is that Desmond Bane went from scoring 5 points in the first half to 17 in the second. At the end of the day, Bane was the guy with the ball in his hands to win the game. Inbound to Paolo, hand off to Bane. Bane got the switch on to Bruce Brown, went one-on-one, drew the foul, made the free throws, won the game. The Magic are, and we'll get to this here in a minute, the Magic are going to what they think this team is because that's what they think this team is. But the truth is, right now, Anthony Black is the best player on this team. Anthony Black is the guy you can rely on the most. The way things are constructed, Anthony Black has found that groove, and the Magic, frankly, look, they made the play, they got the free throws, they won the game. I thought the Magic should have given the ball to Anthony Black to close this game. Whether it be a Black Paolo pick and roll, whether it be Black just trying to take guy off the dribble into a dribble pull-up that he really into that dribble pull-up that he really likes. Maybe there's just no faith yet that Anthony Black knows the spots on the floor he likes and could create off the dribble. And maybe that is something coming down the road. But there is no denying right now, Anthony Black is as good as the Magic have. His effort's consistent. His defense is consistent. His scoring is now consistent. He's averaging career high 14.4 points per game entering tonight's game, shooting 44.8% from the floor. Not a career high, but again, higher volume. 11.6 field goal attempts per game is a career high. He's up at the 33.1%. So I guess part of this is he's making his threes. 16. He is doing a lot of really good things. And so, no, he's not an NBA All-Star. But right now, he is as close as the Magic have to a star. And the Magic are going to ride this wave as far as they can go. We have seen what an engaged, aggressive Anthony Black can do for this team. It's what happened in Philadelphia during the NBA Cup when he had his career high, scored 20 points in the second quarter, had 32 at the time. So that time was his career high. We've seen what an aggressive Anthony Black does for this team. And the Magic need more of this. When Paolo's right, when Franz is back, when Jalen's back, they can't deny how important and how good Anthony Black has been. And the Magic don't score this crazy win over the Denver Nuggets without him. Let's break it down then. Let's talk a little bit more about the Magic's game against the Nuggets and why it was about the others coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Fridays already feel different during basketball season. It's not just the NBA Cup earlier in the season, but FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with the NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Fridays from 6 to 7:30 Eastern have become appointment viewing with NBA Happy Hour. Opening the FanDuel app during Happy Hour always brings something new, boosts, bonuses, and surprise. It's easy to check the weekly special before tip-off and make a move before the window closes. So, before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 Eastern. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That is NBA Happy Hour, only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. We want to thank you for making Locked On Magic your first listen of the day. And thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. If you haven't already, go check out our new Everydayer Club. We're still experimenting a little bit with it, but I'm eager to get started and eager to connect with you all on the Everydayer Club. With the Everydayer Club, you get access to the ad-free audio feed for Locked On Magic. It's compatible with all the major podcast apps, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I know everyone hates the ads. I hate reading them. That's not true. I like getting paid, but you can now pay to get rid of the things that pay me. You can also get an invite to the members only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord server, which includes a group chat just for listeners of the show. And I'm going to start dropping in nuggets and thoughts that I won't be posting on my public game threads over on the Everydayer Club Discord server and my subscriber Discord server as well. So go to lockedonmagic.supercast.com. That's lockedonmagic.supercast.com, or tap the link in the show notes to learn more about the Everydayer Club. So Anthony Black's a star. Like that's what this game was. It was Anthony Black All-Star Party. And look, this is the thing. The reason your guy is a star, the reason why stars are important is because they can take the brunt of the attention and can do everything every night. That's why they're stars. That's why they get paid the big bucks. The difference between, again, this is what Anthony Black has to continue proving, and this is what he's proven throughout the course of the year and what he's done over the last 2 weeks, is consistency. Given opportunity, are you going to be able to create, and are you going to be able to help your team win and produce consistently, especially with defenses loading up against you. Maybe defenses are about to change their scouting report on Anthony Black. How is he going to adjust to that? That's the measure of a star. And again, the Magic know they have a star in Franz Wagner. They know they have a star in Paolo Banchero. He's not playing like it right now, but they know they have one. And, Desmond Bane is on the cusp there, and Jalen Suggs is on the cusp there. The Magic are a super talented team. But throughout his tenure, Jamal Mosley has preached one thing, that we are going to do this by committee. And, it's coach speak. Just plain and simple, it's coach speak. What does that even mean? And you can't do things by committee because you do have to get the ball to your best players. I see people say this all the time. Why is Paolo deferring to Jamal Cain? And I'm like, well, that's just, that could be the right play. That's what they preach. And so, yes, the Magic do have to make sure that they get their best players the ball in advantageous positions so they can create for others. But they want a selfless attitude. And they want the game to tell them who needs to step up. They want everyone to be ready when their number's called. And that's really kind of what defined this game against the Nuggets. The Magic were kind of searching for that leadership. They're searching for that person to kind of guide them to the end and guide them through this thing. Orlando's starting lineup started off really well. They're down 7-2. They stormed back. Okay, a lot of runs in this one. But the Magic stormed back. They took the lead. They're cruising along, and then they broke the lineup. And the bench groups were just a little shaky. The lineups were great. Again, first half, Paolo and Bane just stunk. Just plain and simple, they stunk. And I said this after the game against Charlotte. The Magic aren't winning any basketball games when Paolo and Bane stink. And Paolo and Bane stunk. Again, balls in their hands a lot. They got a lot of decisions. They get a lot of shots. They stunk. You're not going to win. And in the first half, when the Magic were down by 15 and the Magic were struggling and doing a lot of the same mistakes that cost them against Charlotte on Friday, they stunk. So how did the Magic get themselves back into the game? Beyond just Anthony Black's brilliance. The game called for Anthony Black. He answered it. It was Tristan da Silva. 17 points off the bench, 5 rebounds, 7 for 11 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, looking very refreshed from the time off. The shoulder injury was bothering him a lot. He admitted it he admitted it before the game on Friday that he was playing through it, but it was bugging him and it was keeping him from playing in the moment. He needed the time off to heal up. If you're ever wondering, why are the Magic sitting Goga Bitadze an extra bit? Why is Jalen Suggs still out? Sometimes you need to let your body heal. And you'll sacrifice a little in the short term for long-term gains. Tristan da Silva looks like Tristan da Silva again. Honestly, we could have the conversation about Paolo if we want, but Tristan da Silva looks like Tristan da Silva again. What about a big contribution from Wendell Carter? 18 points, 13 of them in the third quarter, 8 for 16 shooting, only 1 for 4 from 3, but 7 rebounds, including 3 offensive rebounds, 4 assists. Tough task guarding Nikola Jokic, was frustrated with fouls, did eventually foul out of the game late on a jump ball that was overturned on review. But Wendell Carter stepped up and made shots that, again, spread that defense out. This is the by committee approach. The ball goes where it needs to go. If you're selfless, if you're moving the ball, if you're doing all the right things, the player that needs to step up and score will reveal themselves, and it's on the team to find that player. It's on that player to step up. Because eventually it did find its way back to the Stars. Eventually it did find its way back to Desmond Bane. He had 24 points. He only had 5 at halftime. Went 10 for 10 from the foul line, including making the game-winning free throws with 6 seconds left. 7 for 13 shooting overall. Found his groove. Only 0 for 2 from 3. Didn't take a lot of threes. But got downhill, got to the basket, made shots when they counted. Added 6 assists too, by the way. The Magic have always preached this by committee approach. They've always preached that the ball finds who it needs to find. And now more than ever, they have to play that way. Now more than ever, that has to be what they're about. and again, I'm trying really hard not to belabor the point about Paolo. And I want to talk more specifically about Paolo's game, the good and the bad of it, coming up here in a minute. But Paolo Banchero, this offense and this team is designed to revolve around Paolo Banchero. It is. And his struggles to be that metronome, to be that star, to be that scorer when things get hard has left this huge vacuum that this team has struggled to fill. And the way, and perhaps what needs to happen, perhaps like the lesson of all this is, Jamal Mosley preaches by committee. It might be time to start running this thing by committee. To run this thing as if you don't have a star. You don't need to get Paolo's touches. If the ball needs to find him, it will find him. If you want, Desmond Bane took over this game at the end. I was fine with him making that final play, making the final pass, and making the final shot, making the final play. Again, I would have loved to see Anthony Black involved more in the action. Then again, like huge play down the stretch, Magic are down 1. Black struggling to get the ball in, flings it to Wendell Carter. Wendell Carter and Tristan Da Silva run this incredible like makeshift pick and roll, tons of space because everyone's come to the ball. He throws it to the opposite end of the court. Tristan Silva gets a floater and makes it. That's by committee. The ball found who it needed to find, and that player made a play. That's what this offense is designed to do. That's what this offense is about. And with Paolo and Desmond struggling, and Desmond came on strong in the second half, and big reason why the Magic eventually won this game. With those players struggling the way that they're struggling, that's kind of what the Magic have to be about right now. That's kind of how the Magic need to play. And it's annoying because it's not true. You give the ball to your stars. Your stars create a lot. The ball is going to find them because they're stars, because those are the guys that the team ultimately relies and trusts. And right now, yeah. The reason why I'm saying Anthony Black is an all-star after this game, or as a star after this game, is because he's a guy you can trust. And right now, you might trust him a little bit more than some of those established guys. In this game, you do trust him a little bit more than some of those established guys. And if the Magic are going to survive until they're up at full speed, if the Magic are going to win in the playoffs, they're going to need to have that trust in whoever the ball finds. So maybe this will ultimately be good. But it was rough getting there. So let's talk about how we got there. Let's talk about the good and the bad and the box score coming up here in just a moment. We have run through a lot of the box score already, so I don't want to belabor too many of these points and talk about these individual players again. The Magic defeat the Denver Nuggets 127-126, a true game of like wild runs. Orlando started off down 7-2. They storm back, take the lead, moderately, not a huge lead. They storm back, take the lead. Their starting lineup, I thought, played well to start the game. Ball was moving, better energy, took the lessons from Friday, played a lot better. And generally, they played a lot better. But then they break the lineup. That bench group, especially that first bench group when Bane comes out, that's anchored by Paolo Banchero, it's not good. It's just not a good lineup. And maybe it'd be better if Paolo were Paolo, but Paolo's not Paolo. And again, like I think what I'm annoyed by most right now, what I'm annoyed by most right now is that the Magic keep acting like Paolo's going to be Paolo. And look, he's just not. It's not there yet. We got to keep finding it. We got to keep testing for it to come back. And there are moments in this game where Paolo looked like Paolo. Especially in the middle of the fourth quarter, Orlando opened up a 7-point lead. Two of those baskets came from Paolo coming down in transition, spinning off of contact and finishing at the rim. He scored 12 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. He was 6 for 13 from the floor. Not a disastrous game at all. Like you could tell he kind of understands, like, I don't have it. Let me set others up. Let me take the attention. Let me try and get others going. And when he does that, he's fine. Like, yes, I want to see him scoring. It is important that he scores. It is important that He gets to the basket, and look, he was 0 for 4 from the foul line. The Magic missed 12 free throws in this game. This game, the Nuggets should have buried the Magic for all the opportunities they left on the line. Magic could have won this game easily if they had taken care of their business and the things that they could control. Anthony Black, again, as good as he was, another late missed free throw. Like, he is really struggling with clutch free throws. The Houston game, the Utah game, I think the Utah game, it's either the Utah or the Portland game, but he struggled with these clutch free throw situations. That's a concern. Like, Anthony Black is someone who could finish games and finish meaningful games down the stretch. He's playing that well. But as long as, like, I know I've said this a million times. I give Paolo credit. Like, you could tell he's frustrated. He knows he can do more. He wants to do more, but he understands his limitations right now. And so he is trying to help others. The ball is not sticking with him. He is doing a lot of the right things. And ultimately, like, this is where I'm standing with Paolo. Like, the Magic aren't getting the scoring they need from Paolo. But his good is still pretty good. When he is playing well, he is forcing defenses to collapse on him, kicking it out to shooters. And when the Magic take advantage of that, they're really good. He's not scoring. He's not hitting jumpers. The scoring element's the only thing he's missing. He's doing everything else that Orlando, that Magic fans, that his critics have asked for. The only thing he's not doing is scoring. And that's important. I'm not dismissing that. And this game, he did everything the Magic wanted but score. And again, the Magic need that. I'm not pretending that they don't. But to say he's having this abjectly negative impact, and look, we'll get to that. To just assume that everything he's doing is so negative is wrong. The numbers don't even really support that. The Magic are still a significantly better offensive team with him on the floor. At least, certainly in the state that they're in right now. The problem is still, when Paolo is bad, they are really bad. Like, catastrophically bad. Because at least when Paolo was bad at some of this stuff before, he was still scoring. That's why the scoring stuff matters. Because Paolo is a scorer. That's his role. There are still a lot of possessions where his defense and his rotations leave so much to be desired. And he's been kind of lax on that all game. The Magic were down by 2, about 3-4 minutes left in the second quarter. Within 5 minutes of real time, they're down 15, just like they were in Denver. It happened in a snap. And look, some of that is just Denver is Denver. You can't let up against Denver. The Magic, in the state that they're in right now, aren't a team that's going to compete with Denver unless they play really well. And Orlando played really poorly in the first half. Missed free throws, defensive lapses, lots of fouling, terrible shooting. They shot like 39% from the floor in the first half. There were a lot of mistakes and a lot of problems for this Magic team early in the game. It is a minor miracle that they set things right. It is a minor miracle that they figured some of it out. But they did, because in the second half of the game, they made shots. And like, let's just be real. A make shots offense is a really good offense. They shot 67.4%, 29 for 43, 7 for 11 from 3, 14 for 20 from the foul line. So they still missed their free throws. They only had 2 offensive rebounds, but they did a good job containing, and Denver got 8. So, they're still getting beat in some key areas, but they only had turned it over 3 times. They forced 9 turnovers. The Magic just played this incredible second half where, like, everybody ate. Desmond Bane had 19 points. Wendell Carter had 16 points. Anthony Black had 22 of his 38. Tristan Da Silva had 10 of his 17. Nobody on the Magic had a negative plus minus in the second half. And that tells you, like, Paolo was minus 12. He's plus 5 in the second half. Tyus Jones was plus 6. He finished, I think, minus 7 in this game. Like, this Magic team is capable. It's just when things kind of collapse, when things get hard, the margin for error is much smaller. And again, part of that is, like, yes, the Magic don't have that consistent score. And this game was Anthony Black, and then it was Desmond Bane. And the Magic wanted to be Paolo. Look, Paolo in 18-40 in the second half, shot 4 for 7, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. So he did a lot of his work in the second half. He got a lot better as the game went on, which has been sort of par for the course for the most part, except for a few games since he came back from injury. The Magic, though, like that early third quarter, felt very similar to the third quarter against Charlotte, where it was just like, just get some stops and you'll get back in this game. And it started to happen toward the end of the third quarter. And in the fourth quarter, not that the Magic's defense took over, but Magic scored like 40. They scored 36 points in the third quarter. They scored like 43 in the fourth quarter. It just became an offensive onslaught. And again, not to poo-poo this win. The Magic got the stops, made the turnovers, took advantage of opportunities, got to the line, made free throws when in the second half more than the first. They made threes, they made shots. Like, they had a really good second half. The question is whether this is sustainable. And so it feels like this is an exhale. Like, honestly, this feels like it is the world seemed to be crumbling around them. Bad loss to Charlotte. And go listen to our friends at Locked On Nuggets. I am sure they are panicky over this. They're not panicky because they're Denver. They know how good they are, but I'm sure they are upset about this loss. And they're asking, like, these are the things that Denver still needs to work on, and why Denver is still working through some things, because they got their own list of injuries. They're figuring some things out. They, like, go listen to Locked On Nuggets. I'm sure they have a very different perspective, and they're probably discussing the flaws of their team and how a loss like this could happen. Again, it's a weird couple days in the NBA. Charlotte beat Orlando, Utah beat Detroit, Washington blew out Toronto, who we'll see on Monday. There's a lot going on. And so sometimes it's just not your night. And maybe, again, Magic made shots. Maybe this was their night. They stayed resilient. They showed all the traits that we like to see from this Magic team. Even though it wasn't a clean or wasn't a perfect game. Orlando left a lot on the board. And so, again, like, is this replicable? Is this something the Magic can do again? And that, I say this all the time, like, anybody can win a game in the NBA. I said this after the game on Friday, like, maybe that was just Charlotte's night. Made 50% of their threes. Not a lot you can do sometimes. And the Magic should have played better. They needed more effort. They got the butts kicked. Like, all that stuff was true. But maybe it was just Charlotte's night. And Charlotte was going to win that game, even if the Magic played the way they're capable of playing and played better. Maybe Denver's thinking the same thing. And Denver's usually pretty level-headed. Like, oh, we did some really good things offensively. Maybe it was just their night. A team that doesn't make threes made a bunch of threes. C'est la vie. It's one game. Can't go crazy over one game. And that's what I would say about this is, like, yes, great win for Orlando. Really resilient. And again, why I mentioned, like, Anthony Black's been doing this for 5 games. So it's not one game of, overreacting one game. It's like, no, it's been a really good season. He's had games like this before. And over the last 5 games, he's averaging 20 plus points per game and shooting really, really well. This is a good little stretch for Anthony Black. The all-star stuff is there for the algorithm purposes to get people to click. The question is, can the Magic do this again? Can the Magic be consistent? And, like, the way they won this game, the resilience, the effort, the kind of level-headedness, the attacking mindset they had, like, that stuff is absolutely how they need to play. The Magic won this game because they played Magic basketball and they made shots on top of it. That's a good sign. But the trick is always doing it over and over and over again. That's the trick. And that's the part we've got to find out. That's the part that we're going to have to find out again on the road. An interesting little road trip here. Toronto on Monday, Indiana on Wednesday, Chicago on Friday, before you're back home to play Indiana next Sunday. And next Sunday is certainly the next Sunday in this upcoming homestand to start January, heading into the trip to Europe. Certainly, a lot of eyes on that trip, and a lot of eyes on this next grouping of games, for a number of reasons. But it's a good win. I'm not putting water on the fire. I want to be positive today. I'm trying not to be negative today. It's a good win. There's a lot to build on, a lot that they can do again. But it's just, you got to do it. And it's a road trip that the Magic are very capable of going through now. Like, Toronto's going to be tough. Indiana's better than their record indicates. I think we always say that. But Indiana's a rough team, but Orlando just can't take anyone for granted right now. Chicago's playing better and has played Orlando tough. So that's going to be a tough game to end that road trip. Orlando's got to take care of their business. And they got to do it by playing Magic basketball, which they did for a half against Denver. And it was enough to make that comeback and steal this victory. The Orlando Magic defeat the Denver Nuggets 127-126. Congrats to Nikola Jokic on another crazy triple-double. The Nuggets are really, really good. Like, let's give credit where credit's due here. The Magic beat a really good team in Denver. I don't know how Locked On Nuggets feels. I would say Denver played pretty well. Turnovers bugged them. Magic size always bugs them a little bit. Magic made shots, so I don't think Denver is sweating this loss very much. They're figuring out life without Cameron Johnson, but Denver's very good. This is a very, very good team and a very, very good win that the Magic got. So let's celebrate a little bit before the Magic head off to Toronto. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Of course, find me on Twitter at @PhilipRR_OMD and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all the Fun My Seat Alone podcasts to your podcast-enabled listening device. You can find us on YouTube as well. Just search for Locked On Magic. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us there on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. We'll be back with a new newsletter on Monday. So good time to subscribe. I do have a post up there now on Paolo Banchero and his need to get to the basket more and his ability to finish at the basket. Certainly something to talk about after the way the Magic played on Friday. You can check that out again at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. If you need a last-minute holiday gift or someone keeps asking what you want, make it easy. Ask for the Everydayer Club. Ad-free episodes of the show, exclusive Discord server access, and more. Subscriptions can be gifted through LockedOnMagic.supercast.com. That's LockedOnMagic.supercast.com. For those of you on video, we're going to send you the first ever 24/7 national NBA YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen NBA Game Night on Locked On NBA, where I am sure they'll be talking more about Anthony Black and talking more about the Magic's big win over the Denver Nuggets. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. We're going to be back. We're going to try to be back again Monday. We'll figure out what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about yet. I've exhausted a lot of my topics here with the 2 weekend games, but we'll be back on Monday. We'll find some Magic discussion to have. If not, you have this episode to listen to. So listen to it again. I don't know if that counts as double click, but there you go. Thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. We will see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.